Well, recently, I've been hit with a revelation, like a boulder down a flight of stairs. Now, if you were to ask me, what is this revelation? And what does it have anything to do with Dark Souls? It is the reason why Dark Souls is considered so hard, and why it should never get in difficulty setting. Dark Souls is a metaphor for life. Yeah, that's right. Now, you probably paused the video and rolled your eyes at this notion, or either clicked off. I hope you stick around to watch this video, just at least long enough for me to explain. Now, you're asking yourself, how is Dark Souls a metaphor for life? Well, think of it this way. You start in the Northern Undead Asylum. That's where you learn how to defend yourself, how to fight. You learn. So this place is school. You're a nobody. You start out with nothing. You know nothing. In this tiny cell that you will start in, you're given a chance, a key, from Oscar of Astora. He's your first teacher. He's going to help you through this. Well, you make it out into the staircase with the boulder up top. You dodge that, or you're steamrolled. Either way, you've learned a lesson on how to dodge. You go and see what you can do. You see that your teacher is dying. He tells you what you need to do, and he gives you the Estus. You make your way down to the first bonfire. In front of the first bonfire, you see big double doors leading into a courtyard. There's your first obstacle. The fat kid who became hall monitor somehow. The asylum demon. He's blocking your way. Well, you can either fight him, which will take a long time, or you can run to safety and learn and hone your craft and come back and kick his ass. Most people do that. Others take a challenge to try and fight him before they're ready. Either way, you defeat him. You get the big pilgrim key. Hey, you did it. You fought the asylum demon. You got the big pilgrim key. And here's your chance now. Move forward to leave the asylum behind. You're leaving school. You're moving on to the real world. Firelink Shrine. And from the Firelink Shrine, you're dropped into the middle of it. Not knowing this place, but knowing that you now have a choice. You have a choice of direction. You don't know where you're going to go or where it'll lead you, but at least you get to explore. So you do. You eventually find a way to the Undead Burg. You need to get to the Undead Parish to ring the bell. That is your main goal. But before then, you have many life obstacles in your way. These obstacles, well, with good knowledge and determination, you can overcome them. Now, it may seem tough, but eventually you do. So, from Firelink, you make your way to the Undead Burg, and there, you find your first checkpoint. The bonfire under the bridge. Let's just say, your first apartment. You're going to be there for a while until you're strong enough to move on. Well, you make your way up the tower, and your first obstacle. You have to fight your demons to get past. Your first boss fight. The Taurus demon. Well, you know what to do, which most people don't. You'll know to head up the ladder and to fight the two undead that are, for some reason, making it harder for you. Well, once you get those obstacles out of your way, you have to fight your demon, the Taurus demon. Now, you can either fight him and defeat him right there on the bridge, or sometimes you just get lucky and he just jumps off. Either way, you've grown strong enough to fight him and overcome your first obstacle in life. After that, well, it's very bright. You meet a man named Solaire. Solaire can be a guide. He could be a friend. He gives you a white soapstone. If you ever need help, you can call on him. Or if, you're a loner and you prefer it that way, you want things hard, then you don't even bother. But hey, you made it to the Hellkite Bridge. Now you have two options here. You can take the high road and get blasted by the Hellkite itself. If you're resilient enough, you can make it through. Or you can go under the bridge and climb up behind it. Again, either way, you're making your way to the undead parish, making your way to ring the first bell. Now, from here on out, I could probably just take you through the rest of the game. Every step of the way, every boss. But hopefully at this point you understand what I'm getting at. Dark Souls is a metaphor for life. You take on these challenges. They may be hard at first, but you go back, you become stronger, and you take on the boss, and you eventually overcome. Some people give up, and that's pretty sad. I would say Dark Souls is just about for everybody. That's why it should never have a difficulty setting, because you're supposed to persevere, you're supposed to learn, and, well, get good. Just like in life, you're supposed to learn these obstacles and overcome them, move forward. What I'm saying is, you'll eventually get to Gwyn, and after Gwyn, you'll have two choices. You can either turn back on yourself in despair, go the dark path, or you can kindle the first flame, light your way, make a better tomorrow. And that's why it hit me with such a strong boulder to realize this. Now, there are probably a lot of people out there who realized the metaphor before I did, and that's fine. We all come to these revelations at our own pace. But yeah, I thought that was really cool that they would, have this symbolism and metaphors in a game like Dark Souls. Well, again, I could just go on and on about it. One example is returning back to the asylum, going back to school. At this point, you're at art school, and you end up in the painting. Or another thing is, you end up in the Tomb of the Giants in despair. You're in the darkness, close to death. But, I thought I got my point across pretty well in this video. I really wish I could make better videos. Hopefully I can learn more. See what I did there? But yeah, I want to thank you for watching, and I really appreciate you listening to what I had to say on this topic. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.